Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video comes courtesy of Big Pun from my Discord server, who wanted to go and see just like absolutely a very spicy deck list. So I went to the Legacy subreddit and I said, hey, post your spicy deck lists, I'll play one of them. And I would credit the user, but their username was a string of letters and numbers. I'll link the thread below in case you want to take a look at the original deck list. And we're going to be playing with a pretty unique, like, Mardu tokens deck list. I think I just need to start explaining. The general idea here is that this deck is going to try to give your opponent's creatures, kill them, and then get rewards for killing them or giving them the creatures in the first place. So Slaughter Specialist, for example, says when it enters the battlefield, each opponent makes a 1/1 white human creature token. And whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you get a +1/+1 counter on this thing. So this thing is already a little bit above curve as a 2-mana 3/3, right? And with those extra abilities and like the fact that that token is probably chump blocking, this creature is going to get very large quickly. Now, we are going to punish our opponent in other ways for playing these, or they're not playing them, for getting these creatures with things like Trespasser's Curse. And then we are going to kill the creatures using Illness in the rank. The creature tokens get -1, -1. And we have some other things like Varchild's War Riders, which also will give our opponents tokens. Now, the interesting thing about this one is that it is cumulative upkeep. Have an opponent get a 1/1 red survivor creature token. Okay, so the first upkeep they get 1, then they get 2, then they get 3, right? That doesn't matter if this happens, and if we have like Slaughter Specialist or Trespasser's Curse in play, all of a sudden that becomes a very real win condition. I have made very few changes from the original deck list that was submitted, with the exception of making the mana base better. The original deck list had 4 Wastelands, and I just added a couple more fetch lands and dual lands. My rationale being, like, look at how many different pips we need on turn 1, right? Like, we have a lot of different mana requirements. I don't want to cheat the mana here. So I made some changes to the mana base, and I adjusted the sideboard slightly. The original version had Rest in Peace in the sideboard, which I didn't really like. I understand how powerful of a card Rest in Peace is, but I didn't really want to be playing Rest in Peace in my Dragon Rage Channeler deck, right? So, like, for example, versus Blue-Red Delver, like, people are playing Ley Lines as sometimes main deck hate cards to shut off Dragon Rage Channeler and Murktide Regent, and I didn't want to run into that negative synergy. So a Hidetsugu Consumes All might kill one Dragon Rage Channeler, but it's not going to shut off like both my Dies triggers and my Dragon Rage Channelers permanently. I thought that was a little bit better. Plus, Hidetsugu Consumes All is just like an extra creature that I can play out of the sideboard. So like that'll be a little worse versus combo, but I think that's okay. I don't really expect to beat a lot of combo decks with this deck. So, like, the sideboard here is constructed to give you, like, very good tools versus blue decks, which is, like, very important. The Pyroblast effects are extremely, extremely good in Legacy right now, to the point where many decks that don't normally main deck those effects are main decking them. So, like, I wanted to have access to those, and I thought the, like, Meltdown and Stony Silence effects were pretty important. The Deafening Silence buys us time versus faster dedicated combo decks, but if our only hate in the 75 is going to be like Deafening Silence and Thought Seizes, I don't know that we're actually going to just get there. All right, let's go ahead and take this through some matches and see how this goes. This is definitely on the janky side of the equation. I think we're going to run through the tournament practice room today and kind of see how it goes with this, and then I can make some changes here as we go along if I feel like the deck needs it. Which it might, but like the idea at hand here is pretty cool. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you like what you see, and if you're a regular, please throw me a like before this video begins. That is the easiest way to support my content for free. If you want to financially support me, there's lots of ways to do that, ranging from Patreon to YouTube memberships to donating for a donation deck list directly. All right, let's battle. Okay, first opening hand here just does not have any lands. That's an easy mulligan. Yeah. Yeah, I like all this stuff here. I'm gonna keep this. I might like Dragon Rage Channeler is like objectively the best card in this hand, but it doesn't synergize with all the other stuff, so I think I'm just gonna throw that back. Alright, we're playing against a Prismatic Vista deck, which means, like, my Illness in the Ranks might not sit around in play forever. I expect this... Oh, it's not Ponder, it's Preordain. That's a slight nudge towards my opponent playing a combo deck rather than a control deck. It's not 100%, but just something to keep in mind. If that is the case, should I now lead on the Dragon Rage Channeler that I drew? The answer is probably. Let's go ahead and do that. And then I can play the Illness in the Ranks on turn 3. Like, turn 1 DRC, turn 2 Slaughter Specialist, turn 3 Illness in the Ranks, and Trespasser's Curse. I can get rid of this draw step stop. I needed that when I was playing Instant Speed High Tide the other day. Okay, there's a Flooded Strand. That's potentially a control fetch land, but, like, you know, if you are playing a predominantly blue combo deck, like, say, Sneak and Show or Omniscience, you know, blue fetches are blue fetches. Okay, no fetch there. I don't expect this card to be good. But make my land drop here. Rash in for 1. Little love tap. And then we'll go ahead and get the Slaughter Specialist into play. And we'll see if my opponent fetches off the Ponder. They do not, which honestly scares me. All right, there's another land drop. We are officially in show and tell range. My mind is in like the show and tell high tide ballpark. Could be other things still, but like that's where my head's at. Tropical Island could be green splash, like show and tell Omniscience. Haven't seen any creature effects, so it's less likely something like say Alurin. Really? Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, like, I don't think that's a saucy attack. I'm gonna keep my life total high until I kind of know what's up. Surveil with Dragon Rage Channeler. Land absolutely goes to graveyard. Alright, so I do get to nuke that token, which turns us into a 4/4 the turn after it attacks. Like, that's Tarmogoyf levels. Definitely down with that. I'm just gonna use my mana. Like, the surveilling matters. Another Trespasser's Curse. I don't think I need that. I'm just gonna put that into my graveyard for the other type for Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay. Something's gotta be happening, right? Okay, it is show and tell. There is the Omniscience. Do you have the Emrakul? You do have the Emrakul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 permanents. Alright, so do I have any outs here? I can keep 2 permanents. I can only attack opponent for 5 after that. I die in 2 hits. My Source of Plowshare is my own creature. I still am dead in 2 hits. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and concede to that. And this is kind of what I'm talking about in terms of combo here. We have a bunch of Pyroblasts. That'll probably be what I bring in here. Source of Plowshares does not have very many valid targets. And a lot of targets that they do have are just answerable via Pyroblast anyway. And Prismatic Ending is not particularly strong either. I'll go ahead and junk that. That means I have room for a few other cards. I'll probably board in some number of Deafening Silence. And then the question from there is, like, do I want the 4th as well? Or, say, a Pyroclasm? Or a Rakdos Charm? Yeah, let's do that. Let's board out a Pyroclasm. So we essentially have Blast, Deafening Silence, Thoughtseize as the cards that matter in this matchup. Okay, I have the Illness in the Ranks Forbidden Orchard combo, which is cool. Accordingly, I think I will keep this hand with, like, this double Thoughtseize here. I'll give my opponent some creatures in the short term, but, like, that's fine. They are not going to kill me, like, purely with 1/1 tokens in all likelihood, with an Illness in the Ranks in my hand and just, like, the other... Jeez, okay. Hopefully I'm not dead on turn 1. Like, there are worlds where that can happen. Just Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Show and Tell creature. Okay, good. We're not in that timeline. All right, they liked one of them. Yeah, I absolutely don't mind taking that damage. That's totally fine. I don't think I'm gonna play around days here because I want to do this and get my Surveil off the Thoughtseize. I can absolutely get punished by this line, by the way, by days. That absolutely just goes into the graveyard here. Ooh, yeah. I will absolutely take your show and tell here. All right, we're looking okay. Um, basically, for the next turn cycle, at least, the cards that are in my opponent's hand are dead, which is good news for me. And then we'll have to see if they have anything super sweet that they can Cunning Wish for. There's a handful of various chains that could happen. Wow, opponent getting aggressive. I guess that puts me to exactly 15, which is a number that matters. That's fine. Another Dragon Rage Channeler. Absolutely. Yeah. Cast an Illness in the ranks. Give my opponent creatures and then take them away. And hopefully surveil a couple of different card types into the graveyard. Ooh. That card's really good in this matchup. I think I just have to keep that on top, unfortunately. Well, I guess it's, oh no, I have a good card situation, right? Alright, so I'll keep that, just attack for 2. I don't get to just, like, send the lightning bolt, sorry, attack for 1. I don't get to just, send the lightning bolt to the face here. And to do just the most disgusting things that I am capable of doing, in terms of aggression. Alright, there's another land. Opponent did not play out their fetch land, notably. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this after blocks. There's a very good chance that I can turn these into big bigs with the surveils. Yeah, absolutely. Put that into graveyard. Now we've got enchantment. That's 3. Lightning bolt is already 4. What do I think of Deafening Silence at this point when I know my opponent has Omniscience? I think it's worse than another blast or something that just helps get my opponent dead. Like, it's totally a valid card in the matchup, but I think we're approaching the point where, like, I don't know, maybe I take it because, like, then a counterspell protecting Show and Tell doesn't work. Yeah, I could see an argument for taking it. Very surprised my opponent didn't end of turn Cunning Wish. Alright, there is a land drop. And we're chilling. So I guess like an Ice Fang Coatl is a thing that can happen, right? No, yeah. You auto attack for me. Yeah. Can't make the mistake of not attacking. Okay, it was not Ice Fang Coatl. No, I guess if my opponent has a counterspell, like they just counter the Deafening Silence and then they do the whole show and tell thing on their turn anyway, right? Yeah, but then I had the blast. Yeah, maybe I should have kept the Deafening Silence. I don't know. Like, I think a Thoughtseize, a blast, or probably even a Slaughter Specialist, just turning it into a 1-turn clock is probably better. IDK. That one's close. Okay, so here's the question. Like, do I keep a Pyroblast hand that literally does nothing else? I think the answer is no. I think my opponent ends that, wins that counter spell fight too much of the time. I will keep this hand. I guess I'll throw back like a mountain. I'm looking to play dual lands here. Like, there's worlds where some sort of like back to basic shit can get involved. And I think I will Thoughtseize now. It's possible I'm just supposed to hold up the blast. Specifically because like Brainstorm hiding the critical cards is a thing that can happen on this turn. If I force my opponent to use a suboptimal Brainstorm. Oh shit, it's Veil of Summer. Sure. Good card is good. Actually, I don't even really think Veil of Summer is a good card anymore. Like, its power level is still there, but like this card used to be in like ban discussions for Legacy, and now it's just like not unplayable, but very rarely seen. It's still very powerful in the cases where it's good, but discard decks have largely fallen out of favor in Legacy. Like, discard spells just can't keep up with fire design. And like the red elemental blasts are just better than the Veil of Summers right now because they also just like destroy Murktide regions that are in play. Okay. Follow-up land drop. Are we going to see a Ponder or Preordained to Shuffle? Oh, shit. Sure. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little surprised to see Surgical Extraction here. I don't think any card that I am doing is powerful enough to want to Surgical Extraction it. And I don't think that's, like, good enough graveyard hate to, like, play versus Dragon Rage Channeler. Ooh, buddy. Let's go fetch, like, do I want a Scrub or a Plateau? I guess it doesn't really matter with the number of lands that I physically have in hand here. The Deafening Silence now wins that my Pyroblasts can just actually counter a Show and Tell effect successfully. Okay, we are getting a Brainstorm. This might not actually be a Brainstorm meant to dig for a counterspell for Deafening Silence. This may be a Brainstorm of, I just need to cast this card so it's not stuck in my hand for Deafening Silence. That's kind of the vibe I got from that Brainstorm. You know, you got to vibe check your Brainstorms, figure out why people are casting them. Ooh, Tundra, so we might have white for something like Teferi. Burrow. Yeah, okay. That was absolutely one of the reasons to splash green, so I'm not surprised. The green often represents Ice Vanquaddle, Veil of Summer, Uro, or Eureka as an additional show and tell effect. Do I want fetch more dual lands? Yeah. Actually, maybe I don't need them. Maybe I can just fetch Mountain here, just on the off chance that opponent is doing something particularly spicy with, like, Back to Basics or something like that. I don't know that, like, you get to play both, like, Back to Basics and Uro in your 3-color show and tell deck, but it's something to keep in mind. So this is blue, blue, green, basic forest if they have it. They do. I unfortunately probably do just have to counter this Uro. Which leaves me in a bad position versus the show and tell, which is, like, one of the things that my opponent, like, very obviously is trying to do. But we'll stop that. And then just kind of hope to top deck something good. I need it. I am running on empty, and my opponent knows that I am running on empty. Alright. Well, let's get in there for 3. Opponent takes the chump block. Means that this gets bigger. And I'll go ahead and curse my opponent. Again, tap the basics in case something like a Back to Basics gets involved. I probably get about 2 turns until an Uro gets... well, you know, maybe I have a little more time than I give myself credit for. My opponent can't just spew cantrips. Fuck, yeah, that's exactly what I was afraid of, right? Okay, there's the Omniscience. I'm not dead this... Well, I guess they can Emrakul. Alright, yeah, there's the Ice Fang Coatl, which is worth a drain 1, but Deafening Silence is non-creature spell. Okay, yeah, so they innately had the Emrakul. That's fine. GG's. So one thing I'm immediately noticing after the first match here is that I don't really have a source of card advantage, right? There's no expressive iteration sort of card here. So I'm going to keep that in mind in future rounds, and if I still feel like I need card advantage, maybe we'll explore a way to find that. Okay. I don't have enough mana for this hand to function. I think just going to mulligan here. I really need 2 lands with this deck, I think. Yeah, I think I just have to mulligan. Okay. This is a 5-card hand. I am always getting rid of 1 scrub land. Then it's a question of, like, do I want to keep land 3 because of Wasteland, or do I want to keep Swords to Plowshares to, like, trigger these? And, like, Wasteland, if I throw back Mountain, is real bad. I think I am going to throw back Mountain and just accept that, like, a Wasteland probably beats me after a mulligan to 5 anyway. That's an unfair land. That's not good for me. And note, I kept the Forbidden Orchard here because of, like, the combo potential with other things in the deck, like the Slaughter Specialist and the Rakdos Charm. I will 100% versus an Underground Sea opener just Thoughtseize on turn 1. No fucking way. No fucking way is this happening right now. I am so glad on this is on camera. No one would have ever believed this shit otherwise. Man, these are all 2 manas. I'm gonna take the brainstorm here and hope to keep my opponent from finding red mana. I'm about to get wastelanded, and well, I don't know. Maybe I don't get wastelanded. Maybe my opponent just plays Slaughter Specialist. Game is going to get weird. All right. Yep. The Pyroclasm. This is a 3/3 innately. Okay. Here we go. I think I attack my 1/1 into the 3/3 and Pyroclasm this away if I'm given the opportunity to. That saves my Swords to Plowshares for one of these later. My opponent just took it. In that case, go ahead and play a Dragon Rage Channeler. I don't think I need to gunk Slaughter Specialist immediately. Opponent said, "You saw that Reddit post too? I made that Reddit post." Okay, there is the Trespasser's Curse. Is fine. Although, I think I misplayed, just by the way, because like I knew my opponent had Spell Pierce, so I should have used the Swords of Plowshares on my turn. And I am now absolutely getting punished for that fact. Yeah, now I need to draw another land to play around that. Yeah, I got distracted by typing. Okay, now I just play around it anyway. That's totally fine. Yeah. Let's go ahead and Swords to Plowshares this. I'll surveil just about anything into the graveyard immediately. Yeah, that goes away. Oh, it does answer one of these. Actually, maybe since they have Trespasser's Curse, I need to keep that. I'm at 14, though, which is rough. Maybe I bin that. I can go ahead and play out my Dragon Rage Channeler. Yeah. We'll take the damage there. Bash my opponent for 2. And just, by the way, with, like, Wasteland here, not casting Varchild's, what is it? War Riders. Like, that's exactly why I took Wastelands out of my version. An opponent went a different direction and added cantrips, but I don't think you get to play like the cantrips and the Wastelands. Yeah, opponent has a higher density of shit that matters here than I do. That's not great for me. Take it? Question mark? I don't know. It just makes this bigger. So I'm gonna like take that damage in a different direction later. I think I'm gonna use my creatures to chump block the Slaughter Specialist instead. Yeah, with these coming next turn and like my opponent having a tap a land, deal 1 damage to me thing here, I think I am dead. I am going to go ahead and concede here. What do I want for the mirror? I want Hidetsuga Consumes All. I want Plague Engineer. That's it. And then I just have to decide what to take out. So, like, there's worlds where I can just board out my Illness in the Ranks and make my opponent play those. But if they also do that, like, things get super weird. How do I feel about Pyroclasm? Pyroclasm doesn't kill Slaughter Specialist. It's a 3/3. Pyroclasm doesn't kill the War Raiders. It's a 3/4. I think I board out Pyroclasms. Like, Pyroclasm also kills my Plague Engineer. And then I think I board out Thoughtseize. I just want, like, stuff that kills my opponent and stuff that affects the board. Like, I think I am in the beatdown role here. My opponent has cantrips, so they're going to get better at assembling their stuff. How do I feel about this? Yeah, I like this. So the real question is, like, do I start tapping Forbidden Orchard from turn 1? For Slaughter Specialist reasons? I think the answer is no. I think if I get a land wastelanded, I want my bad lands to be wastelanded in, like, the 2nd turn cycle. Yeah, I think I don't start tapping this immediately. I also just, like, miss a few points of Dragon Rage Channeler chip damage in a lot of worlds. So, my opponent has passed with mana up, which could mean Swords of Plowshares or Spell Pierce, so I'll probably play Slaughter Specialist this turn to play around Spell Pierce. And I'll just attack in immediately before giving my opponent, like, choices about which creature to get rid of. Do I want a basic land here? I don't think so. I would be fine with my opponent wastelanding me right now, seeing as I am ahead on board. Wow. Opponent found room for Force of Wills. Like, they found room for Force of Wills, and yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, yeah. Do it. Ooh, they're not doing it. They're playing their own thing. All right. Gonna play your own Slaughter Specialist. A War Raiders. Okay, sure. I want my opponent to use their Wasteland. Like, I want that a lot. Okay. Sorry, chatting with the opponent a bit. So I think I'm actually going to fetch, grab Scrubland here, and then just Prismatic ending my opponent's creature out of the way here. I'm going to get rid of a Lightning Bolt to just purely grow this thing, because that's my 4th type, and I get to crash in for 3 in this turn cycle. Like, I think Lightning Bolt is totally a reasonable card here. All right, opponent has a Slaughter Specialist. Sure. The opponent's land light here. So I will go ahead and crash in for 3 points of damage. And I'm actually going to kind of hope to put my opponent in the situation where they can't wasteland my Forbidden Orchard. Ooh. Force of Will pitching Spell Pierce. Yeah, I'm going to lose my Forbidden Orchard. How do I feel about a 3-4? Feel fine about that. Like, I'm definitely the beatdown right now. That can change. But for now, I'm the beatdown. Okay. Now, this is symmetrical. Like, let the record show that is symmetrical. So we are both going to lose our tokens. So I'll eat this damage here. Yeah, I am not getting wastelanded. I'm going to go ahead and play this Dragon Rage Channeler. Or sorry, I'm going to go ahead and attack with this Dragon Rage Channeler, see if my opponent's last card is Lightning Bolt. It is not. And then I think I'm just going to play the thing that attacks for the most damage here. Doesn't use my mana as efficiently as possible. Maybe I should just use my mana as efficiently as possible, actually. Just play a Death Toucher. This attacks for less damage, but you are a human, right? Yeah. Yep. So I will turn that. Oh shit, I just looked at that card and read human. That was dumb. Okay. Trespasser's Curse, very good. Oh wow, opponent offering the trade here. I don't think I take that trade. Like, I'm just gonna attack you for 5. Yeah, I don't think that was a good attack. Yeah, because now assuming no removal, like, you're just dead another turn from now. Fine with losing 1 to play this card. All right, you got 1 card left. There is blue. Okay, so you got a couple looks at a different card. Yeah, I think my opponent needed to hold their creature back last turn. Trade for Plague Engineer to save some life. Okay, there's the concession. And especially on the draw, I don't think I want extra Thoughtseizes or anything. I wonder if we should try out opponent's version for the second half of this video. I will keep this hand. It's not like the most on-theme hand or anything, but I like it. Again, because of Wasteland, let's play out less valuable lands first. Bad lands, not super valuable here. We're probably looking to play Dragon Rage Channeler into Dragon Rage Channeler Swords to Plowshares. That's fine. Don't care if I get wastelanded here. Okay, opponent has a reactive hand. Do I want to play Thoughtseize prior to playing Dragon Rage Channeler? I don't think I do. My opponent probably would have pitched a Spell Pierce over a Brainstorm, so I'm not going to be playing around that. I can protect from a removal spell by doing that, but I have another threat in hand. So I think I'd rather make my Dragon Rage Channeler a more impressive threat. All right, yeah. I think I like that. The Surveil here just feels important. I am going to just bin Lightning Bolt, since my opponent didn't play out any initial creatures. Hunted Phantasm. Holy fuck. Yeah, I want to play your list. Okay. Yeah, that's so strong. I wonder if I take the Spell Pierce, though. Um, huh. So the War Riders are castable right now. Huh. This is a really tough Thoughtseize. I really want to try to get my opponent to cast the Phantasm and then just, like, take advantage of the 5 spirits by removing it with Swords to Plowshares. And I can just, like, actively play around Pierce. I'm going to take a War Riders here. Opponent and I have just agreed that they need to cut Wasteland from their deck. All right. There's a blue source. Another blue source. Is this just the War Riders? Oh, it is a Slaughter Specialist. Absolutely. That is a 3/3. Very notably. So let's go ahead and fetch here. Grab Scrubland for the trifecta seems fine. Use a red source here. Bolt that out of the way. Is this an above average draw right now? I don't think this is an above average draw right now. I think that's an average draw. Like, it's better than a land. It's worse than a lot of my other spells. And now I know the exact contents of my opponent's hand, so I know I am safe to just play this out pre-combat. Bash in for 4. This game also might go fast enough that my opponent just, like, taps out for this. And I just, like, Swords to Plowshares that, and then just hope to kill them relatively quickly. Absolutely. I didn't really want extra land there. Is this a just swords their creature and get in there situation? It makes me worse against this card that I know they have. But I think I'm down with it so I can get in for the extra damage this turn. I'm going to keep that Lightning Bolt on top, and I can shuffle it away with Bloodstained Mire if I do not like it. Okay, so this is the Rampage mechanic. Rampage, I believe, reads if something is blocked by more than one creature, you get to give the creature +1/+1 until end of turn. Yeah, for every creature beyond the first. GG's. Absolute wild mirror match. Never could have guessed that would have happened. All right, we're back in the lab for Deck Tech Part 2. This is an adjusted version of the list that our last round opponent sent me. Couple of highlights here. The Wastelands have been removed from the deck list for more blue sources. Their version had 2 Spell Pierce and 2 Echoing Truth. I have cut those for Preordains. I think this is a tap-out deck most of the time, right? Like Slaughter Specialist, War Riders, Hunted Phantasm, Hidetsugu, like these are all wanting you to tap out. So I think the idea of holding up mana is not necessarily going to be good. So I wanted another turn 1 play that I could do that would progress me towards assembling my various combos, and Preordain kind of fit the bill here. And I like that a lot. I adjusted the sideboard that they had a little bit, so we're on the same overall strategy now, except we have sort of a more, like, objectively more powerful curve topping creature that, like, really can make Slaughter Specialist pop off and really can do a lot of damage quickly with Trespasser's Curse. So if we play Trespasser's Curse into Hunted Phantasm, we get 5 immediate damage and then 4 unblockable damage every turn after that. Yeah, let's hop into a game and see how this feels in comparison to the first list. Oh, baby. Yeah. Yeah, that looks fine. We can do this. The Brainstorm's kind of hard to play here, though. Like, there's some worlds where I'm going to want to just end of my opponent's turn, just cast the Brainstorm, bury the Force of Will, and fetch it away with Polluted Delta, just hoping to hit a land so that I can just, like, curve Curse into Phantasm. But if my opponent is a broken combo deck, then I want to have this Force of Will. Also a world where I lead on Polluted Delta rather than Brainstorm. so that I am better against Wasteland specifically. Alright, we are facing down a Windswept Heath. Now, this is usually a land that Force of Will is not good against. So I am going to go ahead and be comfortable brainstorming and putting back Force. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we got cards. We've got cards. I also just like have the next land drop, which is sick. I guess I can just grab Volk here. Like, I have another black source in hand. Let's just curse my opponent. Oh, yes. It's happening. I get to play Hunted Phantasm and then play Slaughter Specialist into Illness in the ranks. God, this feels good. This is a curve. Now, my Trespasser's Curse can just eat a Prismatic Ending or something like that, so, like, that is something to keep in mind. Yavimaya gives off, like, Dark Depths style energy. We're probably playing against, like, Green-White Depths. Let the fun begin. Sort of funnily, I am at 19, which is, like, lethal with a Merit Lodge hit through Illness in the ranks. Just, like, throwing that out there. Alright, there's the Trespasser's Curse trigger. There's more Trespasser's Curse triggers to bleed my opponent for 5 damage. Hell yeah. Nice. Oh, now these are drains, so I do gain life here. Definitely still in danger from, like, a Merit Lodge, though. This is fine. God, this Illness in the ranks is going to be so hot. So very, very hot. I am excited about this. No. That's okay. It just means my other stuff is more likely to live. I'm taking 6 here, but I'm still above 20, which is wild. Alright. Slaughter Specialist into Illness in the ranks. Yeah, have your creature. Nothing bad will happen, I promise. Oh my god. Okay, alright. This is turn 4, and I made an 11/11 for 2 mana. Is this the power of Murktide Regent? Alright, end of turn, crop rotation. End of turn, crop rotation. Now, Merit Lodge does not kill me in 1 hit. Like, let the record show. My opponent probably can't attack me with a Merit Lodge without just dying. Yeah, like, make your creature. But I'm going to have, like, I'm at above 23 life, and I am going to have a lethal damage attacker. So my opponent needs more than what they currently have in order to beat me. Yep. Yeah, there's a Phantasm. This Slaughter Specialist is so huge. It's a 17/17 after all of those triggers resolve. This is also unblockable, just by the way. So, like, if my opponent can't attack with Merit Lodge, I just get 4 damage a turn. Yeah, you can kill my Forbidden Orchard, that's fair. Yes. Okay. Do I want to preordain or do I just want to play out a creature? A lot of times I can just, like, preordain into a land and then also play the creature. I think I'll greed it up here. Yeah, that's fine. Bottom that. Top the land. Go to combat. Attack for 4. Unblockable. Fetch a new red source. Just grab a Volk. I don't really need a Badlands currently. I don't need black currently. Play this. I'm just a little tiny thing here. If I would have tapped Underground Sea rather than Volcanic Island the first time around, I could have played this without fetching. So that's a possible optimization to what I've got going on here. What would you like to do with your turn? Not attack is the answer. Yes, would you like a token? Would you like to put a counter on my creature that can nearly start attacking into Merit Lodge? Let's preordain and figure out what I want with this. Island absolutely goes on bottom. Forbidden Orchard can tap to grow this creature, but I can just, like, attack in with it next turn anyway. Let's just bottom that and take a new draw. I've got very much a lethal attack next turn. Only hit for 7 right now. I'll go ahead and crash in. Opponent drops to 5. And I'll play another one of these. Yeah, this version with blue feels a lot smoother. And also gets rid of some of the awkwardness of, like, Dragon Rage Channeler. With some of the other cards, like Hidetsugu Consumes All. That's right. That's right. Now, I admittedly probably don't have a lot for my opponent's deck. Like, the plan is definitely just going to be kill them. I'm not sure if I'm sideboarding at all. Like, Lightning Bolts are a little bit interesting to kill early Elvish Reclaimers, but I'm not sure that I sideboard. Like, Lightning Bolts and Plague Engineers are playable. I think I like Force of Will better. Like, I think Preordain is the slot that I can potentially mess with here, but I don't think I want to mess with anything. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong and Elvish Reclaimer's too important. I'll probably keep my hand here. I have decent tools. Illness in the Ranks into Trespasser's Curse into Hunted Phantasm, unless I need to Force of Will, at which point I will need a new, like, top-end finisher of some kind, like a Slaughter Specialist or a Varchild or something. I probably don't respect Wasteland with this hand. Like, I probably try to protect my Forbidden Orchard by getting some other card Wastelanded first. So that draw could allow me to just go, like, Swamp Mountain into this land. That denies that. I really don't want to get Wastelanded in this exact turn cycle, though. I don't know, it's not like I want to get Wastelanded in the future either. I don't know. If I'm getting Wastelanded, I think I'm okay with it. Let's grab Underground Sea. Play Legacy Staple, Illness in the Ranks. I don't know, like, there's like a 50-50 chance that this Hunted Phantasm gets pitched before I get to do my thing. I will let your Mox Diamond happen. Starting Dark Depths. Wait, Loman? Savannah. Ooh. I think that gets a nope from me. I think that's good enough to force a will. Ooh. This Hidetsugu Consumes All is gonna be hot. Yeah. Alright. Let's fetch, grab a Volk, I think. I'll attach my curse. And I'm working towards destroying this and then nuking my opponent's graveyard. This Hidetsugu Consumes All is very good. It gets significantly worse if my opponent casts Life from the Loam exactly this turn. Ooh. Yeah, that's good. That's definitely good. Hidetsugu Consumes All or Slaughter Specialist. I think I get the Hidetsugu Consumes All racking up. It's not going to get rid of every land. Ramunep will get to save some. Although just scaling up a Slaughter Specialist immediately is also appealing. This is easier to play later, whereas the Hidetsugu is harder to play later. So let's get this going. So I make the token, it dies immediately. I drain my opponent for 1. Oh shit, that destroys my Illness in the Ranks, actually. That is symmetrical. Forgot about that. It's like still good. It still sweeps the graveyard. It's still going to be a standalone finisher. But I do now kind of wonder if my choice was correct a little bit. Like, I can just play Slaughter Specialist, immediately turn it into a 4/4. I just have the larger creature in play and just, like, ponder into new lands to continue the beatdown later. That might have been better. But, like, I can't let my, like, essentially Depth's opponent just have access to an extra land drop every turn, right? Alright, am I just getting Wastelanded twice? 100% would not blame you for doing it. Seems like they're not. Also did not take an attack. Okay, so their plan is to keep the second Wasteland so that they can continue to Wasteland me on future turns. That's fair. I'm going to get Wastelanded off of both of these lands on my next turn. I think I'm going to try to high roll here and find more lands off this Ponder, and then also stick a 2-drop. Yes. Very much yes. Put on top. Put on top. Put on top. No shuffle. Play this. And I think I will throw the Slaughter Specialist into play. The second Trespasser's Curse is definitely cute too, though. Alright, there's the Drain 1 from that token. And I just kind of hope that this can get out of control. I've got another, like, follow-up play for next turn. And I can get a land that is not wastelandable. Like, I can get probably Basic Island as my follow-up play. What are you innately? 4-3? 3-3. Yeah, I'm good with that. Swords of Plowshare starts to get spooky. Okay, opponent grabbing a Dryad Arbor, which will drain 1. Okay, you are going to get Summoning Sickness, though. Meaning the attack's no good this turn. I don't think I like a Slaughter Specialist attack at all here. Yeah, I think I'll chill. I'm going to fetch Basic Island so that when I draw cantrips, I am just guaranteed to be able to do those. And that's all I need to do here. And now we can work on Illness in the Ranks from here. And by Illness in the Ranks, I mean anything of that general nature. Okay, opponent just played Caracas rather than wastelanding me again, which may be a slip-up. I don't know what their hand is. Okay, Phantasm is cool, but probably not castable anytime soon. I am fine with attacking in with this and potentially creating a very large Slaughter Specialist. Like, I am good with that. A little awkward if they have, like, a Flash Endurance. Yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm in this for this interaction. And let's just yield to those. Alright, cool. Didn't immediately eat a Swords to Plowshares or anything. And I'll go ahead and pass the turn. Alright, there's an end of turn crop rotation. Or a Mazavith. Absolutely. Yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna drain my opponent for 2 on the way out here. Let's always yield to these at this point. And then I'm gonna need to hit a bunch of basic lands before I can do much else. Or otherwise sit on some fetch lands for a little while. That's fine. I am going to go ahead and attack with Slaughter Specialist every turn. Because that deck is playing Yavimaya, the Green Urborg, so like tapping that land definitely matters. Or some weird multiple crop rotation lines. I am going to go for the high upside play here. This is fine. So I'm going to put the Ponder on top and keep the like card that I want to pitch, and then next turn I can Ponder looking for a land again. Like, if I hit any cantrip or any fetch land, there's just pretty high upside for casting the Brainstorm. The argument to wait is that, like, if you miss on all cantrips and all, like, fetch lands, like, you're super Brainstorm locked. Ooh, I think that one's a no from me. Because, like, the backside of this is just going to be an attack trigger, destroy these things. This is not something that immediately ends the game. But I think this is enough of a pain in the ass for me where I just counter this. Like, I'd prefer to counter something like a crop rotation that is more actively trying to kill me. But this is fine, too. Alright, there is a Caracas from Graveyard. Let's Ponder. Looking for fetch lands, mostly. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle that. Hit another Curse. Since my opponent has no green mana showing, I don't need to make the otherwise obligatory attack this turn. Notably, I might want to stop attacking anyway, because my opponent can just, like, chump with the Spirit, attack me for 3, and then I'm at 20. Oh, yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about last turn. This is the sort of thing that I would much rather counter. Also, the whole 23 life situation, probably is relevant now. So no more attacks for me, I don't think. Similar logic as before. Let's fire this off. Okay, there is a fetch land and a swamp. That's good. Probably keep both basic lands here and then put a rider on top. I don't So, like, this is super weird, but I don't really want my fetch land to get wastelanded. I think I actually just do this here. Gives me less flexibility. Alright, are we in... We're in crop rotation situation. The crop rotation for Dark Depths, copy Dark Depths. Beats me, my opponent gets drained for 2, they still have multiple blockers. Yeah, that does it, unfortunately. Yeah, the Outland Liberator, like, destroying both of these was a real problem, though. I don't regret countering it, but, like, that's the exact scenario that punishes me. Alright, now I know about the existence of Ramunap Excavator, which is a pain in the butt. And I know about Outland Liberator. Does the combination of those things make me want Lightning Bolts? Also, is Hidetsugu consumes all, destroying my illness in the ranks a problem, or just something I'm like, yeah, that's gonna happen sometimes? It still just, like, sweeps up Mox, and it sweeps up the smaller creatures, clears graveyards. I think I still like it. Yeah, I think I will just resubmit the game 1 deck yet again. Hand's okay. The Force of Will that's currently in my hand is not really going to be good. And I do expose myself to a turn 1 Wasteland, because I think I have to just fetch here and play this Preordain. Because I'm still missing stuff to really go off here. Grab C and cast Preordain. Yes. Yes and yes. Means my Force of Will is kind of a dead card. But I like everything that's here. I'm good with this. This is just kind of an engine hand where I have all of my pieces and the ability to cast them. I think I cast Riders before Slaughter Specialist. Okay, there is a diamond. Ooh, discarding a Mazabith. Oh, this is a very powerful Life from the Loam hand if my opponent has it. There's a stage. Okay, this is probably just a Dark Depths next turn. Yeah, so I think my best line here involves just playing this out, giving my opponent as many creatures as possible, and then dropping Slaughter Specialist into Illness in the ranks and just trying to race my opponent. There are worlds where they don't just have the Merit Lodge. This is not that timeline, unfortunately. And I am at exactly 19 because I fetched, which is super relevant. Oh yeah, we would have goldfished so quickly. Yeah, but I'm dead here. And I don't think my opponent will play around it. I think they're just gonna jam. Accordingly, I will concede. They made turn 2 Merit Lodge. That's good enough. GG's. Okay. I like the cards that are here. I think I keep this. Ooh, alright. We are playing against big mana. Do I want Illness in the Ranks on turn 1? Followed by Varchild's turn 2, and then just, like, plan on brainstorming back Hidetsugu? I think so. And then I can keep Preordained to pitch to Force of Will. That sounds good to me. C? Yeah. C, Illness in the Ranks pass. I probably have to Force of Will things like map pretty aggressively here. Ooh, yeah. Does that card matter? I do not believe that card currently matters. It matters if Emrakul gets involved, but I'm hoping my opponent is dead by that stage. Wow, that is an honest-to-goodness candelabra. If I didn't already play out my Illness in the Ranks, I would be super on board with just answering that. Alright, that's happening. Mana is not going to be the bottleneck, resources are. Okay, yeah, you can untap that. Yes, okay. 5 mana, Forsaken Monument. I need to look at this land for a second. Colorless Spirit Creature Token. And are these white? Red. Resolves. Open to dodge Emrakul. Open to dodge Emrakul. I guess the 10 mana Olamog is also really bad. Alright, my dude has resolved. I have, like, all 3 pieces of my pseudo combo here, and it's just a question of, like, does my Force of Will buy me enough time to get the win before my opponent finds an uncounterable Eldrazi? The life gain from Forsaken Monument I don't think is going to be super relevant. Like, this is going to scale up, not literally exponentially, but very quickly. By the way, there was a secret 4th round before this 4th round, but my opponent just conceded on turn 1 after they saw what I was doing, so I skipped that. Okay, so they're going Grim Monolith just to gain the life here. Again, not attacking mana. There is a Golos. Golos gets Eye of Ugin, so that has to be countered. And again, I think I am going to pitch the Preordain with the plan of brainstorming away the Hidetsugu, because I need this illness in the ranks right now. Yeah, like, if you got more, you got more. Otherwise, you can just untap your Grim Monoliths or whatever. Yeah, shit. Okay. That's bad. The 3/3. Alright, so this trigger goes off. My opponent gets the creature. It instantly dies. I guess I brainstorm here. Very nice if it hits a fetch land and I can just, like, clear some of this crap out of my hand. I did not. I hit a Trespasser's Curse, which is really good. I guess Forbidden Orchard is actively bad right now, huh? Because this... Not as bad as Force of Will, but it's not good. Alright. I'll make my land drop. I will crash in at the Ugin. I may be supposed to play Slaughter Specialist pre-combat, but I don't think my opponent blocks. I'm wrong. Alright. So my opponent liked whatever card was under that significantly. I feel like I had a pretty good hand. My opponent's just doing scary stuff. Like, I don't need much time to kill my opponent. I probably kill my opponent in 2 turns. That's 6 right there. 9. Are we in Emrakul territory? We are. Got a couple meltdowns in my sideboard to help deal with the artifact mana. There's an Olamog. I don't think I beat that. Yeah. I don't think I beat that. I'm going to go ahead and concede here. And let's figure out what I can do here. I can play 2 meltdowns for the artifact mana and 2 force of negation for the big top of the curve payoff. Hidetsugu consumes all seems bad here. Let's take those out. And then every other card is reasonable. Preordain is probably the most expendable card here. I've added in 2 blue cards, so my blue count is still the same as it was in game 1. Alright. Illness in the ranks, into Trespasser's Curse, plus Ponder. Seems fine. And at any point, if I feel like I am in pending danger, I can ponder for something else. But I'm going to play this game in a way that holds the ponder for as long as possible, I think. So that... is actually this better now? Yeah, I play this now to start it scaling up with Trespasser's Curse. Yeah, that seems fine. And we see how fast my opponent can go. Alright, that's a map. They can't crack it immediately. That's a key. Meltdown would be a cool draw, given that. I am fine casting a free combat Ponder. I think I grab Underground Sea here. So these cards aren't named Meltdown. But other than that, these cards are pretty good. I can play Curse into Varchild's next turn, and then finish the game with Hunted Phantasm after that. That sounds fine to me. Do I play another Varchild's this turn, actually? Into Curse next turn. This is more immediate damage. Yeah, let's take the immediate damage. I think that's fine. And, oh, interesting. Not really what I expected my opponent to do. I expected them to crack map and go for another Cloud Post immediately. Okay, they're just going for the copy. That's fine. So you can have your tokens. I'll do this. I will crash in for 6 damage. Put you to 11. And then opponent is dead to these curses next turn. Just through, like, raw burn. So they have to effectively win the game this turn. All the, like, Ugin type stuff is not good enough. It has to be, like, Ulamog or Emrakul, I think. And Ensnaring Bridge type stuff is not good enough. Yeah, this is not good enough here. Yeah, like, you can make your token. That burns you for 2, putting you to 9. Okay, there's another map. Sure. I don't even have to get the combat step involved here. Yes. Take your 3 tokens. I trigger this. And then I do this. And, like, these trigger separately. Yeah, that was cool. Let's do that again. Yeah. Um, again, plan executed. It's a lot harder on the draw. Okay. I have an acceptable opening hand here that really needs a 1-drop to make it pop off. But, like, given how powerful the force effects are and given how many, like, 1-drops / cantrips I have, I think I am fine with keeping this. What to counter is a little harder, right? Because, like, I can counter this. This represents both Eye of Ugin and mana. Alright. I think that's gotta go. And, we're on the beatdown plan, I think. I think I'm going to start with the Slaughter Specialist here, since I don't have... I've forgotten the name of my Kill Tokens card. Since I don't have that card, I don't want to give my opponent a bunch of blockers with this before I have to. Ooh, nice. Our opponent is stuck on mana. That's good for me. We'll see if they take the block now. Okay, they do take the block now, which is cool. I want to play one of these 2 lands. I'm going to hope to shuffle this one back. Play a Delta. And then play this out. I'm really only attacking for 3 a turn right now. Ooh, Urza Saga. But that can accelerate pretty quickly. I don't want more lands here. That's actively no good for me. Alright, opponent is just taking that. I'm going to play this land out in the hope that it becomes good in the future. My opponent's Urza Saga token is currently only a 1/1, but it does represent an Expedition map next turn. Or maybe a Pithing Needle on Polluted Delta or something like that. Alright, I am seeing movement from my opponent. Golos, it's a Forsaken Monument. That makes my Forbidden Orchard much worse. Brainstorm would be a cool draw. I have a lot of cool draws, honestly. Yeah, you get the tokens. Yeah, you get the tokens. Fuck me. Okay. Slaughter Specialist is not going to attack in here. These will, though. They have Rampage. They're very good against 1/1s. Okay, these have Trample, right? Yeah, they have Trample. That's fine. I'm still getting in some damage then. Alright, great. Let's always yield to that. And since I have 3 lands in play, I'm fine making a land drop. Alright, we're seeing floating mana here. Oh, it is a candle. That's 7, 8 mana. Okay, there's some untaps. Okay, up to 8 for an Ugin, which is very good. That's a 3 for 1. Yeah. I think my opponent should have attacked with their survivors first. They missed a point of damage. It probably doesn't matter. Like, Ugin probably just beats me here. But, like, it's a thing. Yeah, I don't think I can beat an Ugin. Like, I can make a 4/6. It just gets exiled. That leaves my opponent with a bunch of permanents. Does this gain life as well? No. Not immediately. So, the way I win here is by burning my opponent for the remaining 7 damage. But this Forsaken Monument, I think, makes it so that that's not going to be viable. And I have to vomit everything into play in the same turn cycle. Because if I don't do that, I'm just, like, allowing the Ugin to exile whatever is relevant. I think now with, like, Candle active, there's just too much of a chance that my opponent just plays anything that's big and murders me. There's the Candle untap. Here's 10. Is it an Ulamog? It is. I think at this point I am comfortable conceding to that. Yeah, I think we're about one turn away from killing our opponent, and they got there first. GG's. We don't have any, like, Blood Moon type cards that interact with this stuff. Alright, I've kept my hand for the final round here. And something very interesting happened between when I recorded these rounds. I got an email from someone asking me to do a donation deck list around this card, like, just completely coincidental, not related at all to this video. So, I find this very funny, and they are throwing me a challenge where I'm gonna get $100 if I can go 3-2 in a league with this card in my deck. So, this strategy in some capacity will likely be back in a couple of weeks. Ooh, a swamp. Please don't opposition agent me. Okay. Slightly scared. That's red mana. Oh shit, we're on Reanimator, and I think I just have like 2 Surgicals for this matchup. Actually, I should look at my sideboard, right? Because I changed my deck. Okay. I'll have 2 Surgicals, 2 Force of Negations for this. Potentially a mistake to play a land prior to the Faithless looting. Alright, there's a Grizzlebrand. I'm not... Okay. I'm not sure about my opponent's sequencing there. Don't know how I feel about that. I would like to draw a Force of Will, essentially. There's a new illness in the ranks. That doesn't matter. Okay, my opponent is just, like, not going to play this game. That's fine. I'm gonna keep this in just so I don't have to record my bit. But let's play one more round. Alright, final round here. I'll keep my hand. I kind of recognize my opponent's username. I feel like I played against them earlier today. Not gonna check which deck they were on or anything. I am, however, probably going to just hold this Force of Will in hand. Like, this pairing is good. I already have this combo to kind of get me through the early game here. Alright, Underground Sea, Illness in the Ranks, and pass. Okay, they were the Cloud Post player. Sure. So I don't really need to show this land this turn, right? Yeah, because... yeah. So in that case, let's go ahead and thin the deck of 1 land. Grab a Volk. Play out the Specialist. The Specialist triggers. The token immediately dies. I guess the reason to play this is... or if I draw another Forbidden Orchard. There's so much mana. I don't think I'm supposed to fight over the mana, though. I think I'm supposed to fight over the finisher. Like, that's what it feels like to me. Yeah. Okay, there's the punish for the exact thing that I was talking about. Alright. So, make a mana, kill a thing. This is a 5/5. I don't think I can actually cast a spell. So I have missed 1 point of damage and miss 1 more point of damage per turn that this game goes on. Fuck me. Note here, I don't regret my choices. Like, as someone who plays a lot of these, like, rampy, chalice-y style decks, like, it is very, very common for them to just run out of gas if you counter the 1 card in their hand that actually matters. Them specifically having Eye of Ugin means that's much harder. Alright. So I counter that. Okay. That's very good. So I will enchant you. I'll now play Forbidden Orchard. I'll add blue with both of these. And then do this whole thing. I've got a lot of triggers that I can yield to. The second one. Do the draining. I've missed 2 points of damage so far. Opponent could be at 4 instead. Which is, like, definitely relevant because of Trespasser's Curse. Alright, so there's the untap of the lands for Cloud Post. Brings my opponent up to 6. They can use 1 untap key. Okay, there's another candle. So 2 mana untap. Go up to 7. Then untap a candle. Untaps the posts. There's an Ulamog, which unfortunately I think just beats me. Especially with that draw. I guess I'm not technically dead to it. It's just quite bad. I believe I have 1 out. And it requires 3 of the top 4 cards of my libraries to be very specific things. So it's likely not happening. Yeah, that's fine. Allows my opponent to accelerate. But, like, I'm on a 1-turn clock anyway. So I don't think I actually care that much. Okay, they untapped an untapped candle. I think they meant to click on Grim Monolith there. Okay, yeah, they've got another candle, so they can still use their mana to search with Eye. Oh, they've just got an Ugin as well. Then they just played their turn poorly, right? Because they just, like, minus Ugin instead, and then they can take out 2 of my lands, leaving me on 0 outs. I am going to go ahead and just make sure my fetch actually happens here. Now, most of this stuff gets exiled. A 9. Okay, that does not do it. Yeah, kind of as I established earlier. Like, I don't have the sideboard cards necessary to fight against this deck. I only have 4 cards that I can bring in. I think I did Hidetsu Consumes All as being too slow, and then I think I cut 2 Preordains. Okay. This is a hand that almost works. If this was a blue mana, I think this hand is keepable. As it stands now, it's just not. This hand doesn't do anything. It's like a reasonable 6-card hand that has a 4/4 attacker. And with any blue card, it has a counterspell. With any token producer, the hand becomes actively strong. Maybe this is better than the average 5-card hand with this deck, but it's close. I guess I'm going to keep here, and I think I'm actually going to go ahead and thin the deck here and fetch an Underground Sea in order to play this card, so that if I do end up needing to ponder later, I can like have blue mana in play already. Yeah, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. I think I do just curve out here and play my threat. There's a decent number of worlds where I do have to just force of will something here. And I am going to, like, stick to my guns. I believe the correct strategy is not to attack the mana, but to attack the finishers that my opponent plays. Like, they have plenty of mana and will continue to have plenty of mana, but, like, they don't have filtering, right? So, like, what they draw is what they draw. That's a little annoying. Alright, and I am absolutely punished by my line. This is counterable, though. So I will go ahead and attack that. And now we see if my opponent has more gas. Oh yeah. Like, as far as top decks goes, that's pretty reasonable. I've got a 3/4 attacker that has synergy with other things in my deck. And now it's just like, does my opponent have another fatty in hand? If they do, they win this one. If they don't, I've got a real shot. So that finds an Eye of Ugin. Oh no, that just finds a Cloud Post, so they do have another fatty in hand already. Okay, I probably lose next turn then. It doesn't... Oh, that also doesn't help. Sure. That's not great. So this can't attack anymore. So I am at the mercy of the metaphorical court here. Golos' activated ability is scary. Oh, especially if activated multiple times with that candle. The opponent, like, could just have, like, an Eldrazi or something in their hand. Okay. That's definitely scary. Get an Eye. Okay. Sure. So this is gonna untap the Cloud Posts and the Cataracts. Yeah, I'm just gonna have 6 here. Like, do your thing. I don't know that activating Cascading Cataracts is better than actually just getting the Eldrazi land, the Eye of Ugin, and just, like, getting me that way. Like, my opponent just missed on 3 cards, like, just by all of those being lands. Okay. Yeah, so opponent, like, basically missed on 6 hits in their deck. And this is exactly the sort of reason why I was playing in the play pattern that I was doing, of trying to, like, force a will to payoff card, right? So, like, my opponent plays another Golos, and they just end up in a similar, like, Eye of Ugin sort of spot as they would have been in before, but I think they could have already have had tutored for a creature if they just took the other line. Like, I still lose to this, but I think I could have, like, lost or effectively lost this turn rather than getting one more draw. It's just a land. All right, I'll concede. Like, I die to the Eye of Ugin at this point. GG's. Okay. That's a matchup I'm just, like, not prepared for with this deck configuration. Overall thoughts on the deck list. I like this Grixis version quite a bit. I think there still needs to be some tweaks before I give it another run. I think the Hidetsuga Consumes All needs to go. I just don't know that it should be in the deck, period, or if so, it needs to be in the sideboard, not in the main deck. Destroying in the illness in the ranks is, like, a very huge cost. Like, maybe you still want this for certain matchups because of just how powerful this card is. You know, you're playing against some go wide artifact deck, for example, you play that and just all of a sudden just, like, bam, so much of their resources are gone. Like, that's powerful and strong. One thing I'm kind of feeling here is that I don't really have any card advantage, right? There's not, like, expressive iteration in this deck list. And part of the reason for that is you're playing slightly more expensive than average cards, right? Like, whereas a lot of the Delver decks are very, very, very heavy on ones. We're about split on 1s and 2s and then have some 3s as well. So I'm not sure if you can actually fit expressive iteration into this deck, but it's really good in those, like, mid-game to end-game scenarios where you're top decking and you're, like, trying to assemble multiple cards after a board wipe of some kind. So, like, maybe the deck needs a Planeswalker or an expressive iteration or a Phyrexian Arena, some sort of thing like that. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm relatively happy with the sideboard cards. The Lightning Bolts feel a little weird to me still. Like, I don't know that I want that sort of interaction in something that is largely a combo deck. Like, that's not entirely true, because, like, we have, like, aggro elements, but, like, with the whole, like, Trespasser's Curse, Hunted Phantasm thing, like, that's definitely pumping out combo deck energy. But I like this deck a lot. Like, this one gets a thumbs up for me in terms of, like, deck building and idea. Like, this has some real potential. Is this ever going to be a tiered legacy deck? No, absolutely not. Can you put up a positive finish with this deck at your FNM and absolutely wow some people? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on your way out. I would really appreciate deck building thoughts today, as I am 100% likely to return to this deck in the not too distant future. Have a great rest of the day. See ya!